Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside the Fan Cave. We talk sports every single night of the week at 412-575-2600. And we're doing it as a game continues to be played out. Bob Pompeani here. Andrew Fillipponi is there, which is 93.7 The Fan. Both over at the game tonight. We left when it was 6-0. At least I did, Andrew, because I had to come back here. Never did I expect the Pirates, but one thing I should have learned is the Pirates are very resilient. They came back with 3 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th, and now this game continues. It's 8-7 as they missed an opportunity in the bottom of the 11th, and it was Brian McCann who got an RBI here, top of the 12th against Wilbert Hotel. It's 8-7. This is important. This next out. They can't allow 2 runs to score.
Well, you're right about leaving early. I did too at 6-0. I thought that this game was a lost cause, but you're right with this team. We should give them, at least I should, a little bit more credit as far as being able to battle back in games and compete in games and win games, especially with their prolific offense this year and ability to change games with one swing, and they hit 2 home runs in the 9th inning to push this game to extras. So, such an important game. They win this game and come back and get the victory. They will have the tiebreaker on Arizona because they will have beaten them in 4 out of the 5 games against them this year, which is huge because with the new format that they went to a few years ago, Bob, there are no longer tiebreaker games. So they go to the tie-breaking scenarios like they do in the NFL. In this case, it's head-to-head like it is in every league, and the Pirates would have the advantage against the Diamondbacks. So a lot on the line right now. The winner of this game is going to be alone in that 3rd wild card position, and for the Pirates, they would have that spot plus the game, really a 2-game advantage over the Diamondbacks because they had the tiebreaker too.
Yeah, so Dotel got out of that. He got the final out of that inning, so it's 8-7, bottom of the 12th. We're going to continue to talk about that and monitor it as we go, but there's some other stuff in the meantime we should talk about, and that's the Steelers' day 1. There were a lot of interesting developments there, Pony. Number 1 being that Mason Rudolph is number 2 behind Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't that way at all during the minicamp and OTAs and all this stuff. I'm not sure if that was by design or what, but a lot of people are reading into that. I still think if Howard plays well, he will push for this job. I don't know that it's complete at this point. The other thing is, and people made a big deal about this, but I guess it's a trend in the NFL now, that they're not going to do much tackling to the ground. Just some physical play, but no tackling, which is certainly different than what we saw with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, as far as the Mason Rudolph thing goes, I'll do that first. You know, Mike McCarthy, I thought, very strongly said twice in that answer about their quarterback depth chart that Mason Rudolph was starting off as the backup. So to me, when you put it that way, you're already implying that there's a competition. He's starting off. He's not going to necessarily finish that way. He didn't say that about Aaron Rodgers as the number 1 quarterback because we all know Aaron Rodgers is set in stone there. So that, I thought, was him just being deferential to a veteran. I didn't think that it was really, if I'm Will Howard, it's not the end of the world hearing that Mason Rudolph starts there. I think Howard is going to be given a lot of opportunity to beat him out for that coveted backup job. As far as the tackling thing goes, I get it. More and more teams are going to the softer, more relaxed training camp periods. But what I don't understand is if the name of the game is tackling on defense, breaking tackles on offense, it's still a tackle sport. It's not flag football yet. It's not touch football. How do you get ready for a season without tackling? I don't understand that. It makes very little sense to me. I'm not saying do it a lot. You're not even allowed to do it every day. But to not do it at all, I'm confused by. You want to protect your players and not put them at risk for unnecessary injuries, but I just thought tackling in training camp was a way. Tomlin would talk about getting guys calloused. You've got to work your muscles. You've got to be able to practice at it in order to be ready for it in the regular season, and to not do it at all, I don't agree with it, I guess. And this is coming from somebody that's not a coach, and I don't have to worry about those things, but if it's tackle football, I would think you'd want to practice tackling, Bob, before the season actually started.
Yeah, exactly. And you can go into some of these games and not have enough of that. Who knows how that's going to work out? We do know the Pirates are now batting in the bottom of the 12th. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, we may have an outcome. Gonzalez just grounded out. He left the runner at second, and so now Endy Rodriguez is up. We'll update that as we go along. We'll take your calls about the Steelers and anything else. 412-575-2600. We're right here on KDKA+. All right, welcome back. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Ian Rappaport, who says a new deal for Denzel. That's right. Boy, this Pro Bowl cornerback market is getting higher. Denzel Ward and the Browns, 2 years, $62.2 million, makes him the highest paid DB in NFL history for the second time in his career. And that's the whole trick about this. Every time somebody gets one, it keeps going higher, and Joey Porter Jr. is in a position to get one. And the longer they wait, the more it's going to cost. Now, we don't know if the Gonzalez one, we know that Robert Kraft says is going to be the best one. And if that keeps happening, the price is going to go up. So what is the price range for Joey Porter Jr.? Do you think they can get something done?
Well, look, Denzel Ward got a very short-term deal, but as far as average money per season, it now makes him the highest by a tick over Trent McDuffie. It's $31 million a year, and there was a rumor on today that Joey Porter Jr. wants that amount of money, and Jerry Dulac has come out and said the Steelers don't value him that way. And the problem for the Steelers is, in terms of getting a long-term deal done, is the more guys that Joey Porter Jr. deems his peers, his equals, when they get that kind of money, I think he's going to be less inclined to take the Steelers deal. And that's why I thought it was important for them to try to get a deal done before Gonzalez and Witherspoon and these guys. Because in that regard, you know, if they push it up to $34 million, then Joey Porter Jr. is probably going to have an even stronger argument in his own mind to get paid close to that. So the pup list thing came out today. That, to me, I think is absolutely related to this. I don't think Joey Porter Jr. wants to risk injury in practice tomorrow while he waits for a long-term deal. So that's the compromise. I thought he was terrific last year outside of that Thursday night loss against the Bengals where Joe Flacco lit them up. Outside of that, I thought he was really good. He hasn't given up a touchdown since his rookie year. I think Joey Porter Jr. has looked like a top 10 corner in the NFL. And when it's your turn to get paid in your top 10, you're probably going to ask for top 5 money. So I'd like to see the Steelers give him $28, $29 million a year. And if they don't, I think they'll regret it, Bob, because the cost for an elite corner is only going to go up.
Yeah, they do have something in their arsenal here. They could let this year play out and then give him well, the game is over. I was waiting for some fireworks here, but a strikeout to end the game, and the Pirates did not bunt in the bottom of that inning there. Gonzalez was up with the ghost runner at second. They never moved him. And then Rodriguez struck out, and so did Callahan, and that's how the game ends. So what was going to be a wonderful comeback leaves a sour taste as the Pirates lose 8-7, which leads us to our nightly sports call, KDKA.com/Connect poll of the night. What do you care more about right now? Pirates playoff push or Steelers training camp, brought to you by Penn West University? And right now, Pirates, of course, because they're right in the middle of this. Every night is going to be like this, Andrew. We have a lot of callers, so let's get right to it. Game is now over. Arizona jumps back over the Pirates 8-7. They win in 12 innings. Ed in Deep Creek, Maryland. Go ahead, Ed.
Yeah, I know you guys watch a lot of the baseball and things like that there, but no one's saying anything about the manager. He doesn't manage the game to win. He doesn't. My opinion is, like I said, he's a manager, yeah, and everybody likes him because he has a winning record this year. But the team he has and what he has, he's lost more games for this group than he's won.
He's also handicapped by a bullpen that has fallen apart. That's not his fault either. I mean, he's used it badly at times, I think, but at the same time, they have guys who they expected to step up, and they've not done that. They've already DFA'd 2 guys. They brought in 3 more. They're going to have to do more at the deadline. So I'm not going to look at it that way. They're a resilient group. But let me go back to the end of that inning there, Andrew. Would you have bunted Gonzalez? I mean, it's 8-7. To me, you want to keep going. I thought Dotel had multiple innings in him, and Arizona's bullpen was down to the last guy, I believe. What would you have done there? Would you have bunted him, try to extend the game at least, or swing away, and he didn't do the job?
Yeah, I think it all depends on who's up. You know, I'm not really a huge fan of trading it out for a base. You know, in a situation where you're down a run and you're trying to play for an extra inning, I'm more open to it. Depends who the hitter is. Given the way Gonzalez has hit this year, I'm not really at all opposed to letting him swing there because he's got a good ability to put the ball in play, and I think I trust him too in situations like that to maybe even with an out advance a runner. So I'm fine with that decision. You know, really, to me, this game comes back to a few things where it was lost defensively again. Okay, we're talking about the Pirates and their bullpen woes and struggles, which is, widely apparent. Everybody knows that they've got bullpen issues, that in the next 6 days, Ben Cherington's going to have to work to improve that. But every night we see them, almost every night, make, I think, horrendous plays defensively. Brandon Lau, I thought, got charged with 1 error. Could have easily been 2 in this game at second base. I think he struggles from time to time with routine plays. He definitely did in this game, letting the ball go between his legs. And Triolo screwing up that double play ball that was hit right to him. And he didn't even get an out on that play. And these are things that the Pirates do not do enough, which is make the easy outs, not force a game to turn into a 28-29 out game. Don't give the team extra outs. And they do that a lot. And part of it is because they've got, they want to get their best hitters in the lineup. So guys are all jumbled over and jumbled about, and they're not at their natural positions. But it really shows up from time to time, and I thought tonight was another example of that. They just do not, as a major league team, make enough of the routine plays. And I didn't think it was going to ultimately cost them the game, because I thought they were just going to get blown out. But this game went to extra innings. They made a comeback, and giving Arizona extra outs in this game, I think, ended up being the difference, Bob.
Let's go to Raleigh, North Carolina. Dino is on the line. Hello, Dino.
Hey, Bob. Good to talk to you. I guess my comment is Don Kelly the manager to lead the Pirates into the future? He's made some weird moves with the bullpen. He's made some weird moves with the batters in the lineup. It seems to me he's cost him at least 6 to 8 wins this year. I know last night when he took out Valdez, he moved the shortstop to first base. And there was a throw in the dirt late in the game, which that guy, I think it was Gonzalez, wasn't probably prepared to handle.
Bad throw by one Gonzalez, and the other Gonzalez couldn't handle it, because you're right about that. But, they don't have Horwitz, and he's the guy they want out there in most cases. They have to do some shuffling. That was unfortunate. I think that 6 to 8, Dino, is a little high. I know a lot of managers lose games because of moves they make. A lot of managers win games, and it's not that big of a, 6 to 8 sounds like a lot, Andrew. But I will say this, again, their bullpen has been disappointing. I put that at least 50% on the general manager, probably more than that.
Yeah, I think Kelly's had an okay year. I'm not going to say anything stronger than that on the positive end. I'm not going to rip him any more than that, because I think, I agree for the most part with what you said earlier. I think, you've got a bullpen that is not, it's the biggest weakness on the team. But the usage of it, the timing of certain guys, I think that's been questionable really all season long, going back to when they were pulling starters early in games in April to get to their bullpen when it was unnecessary. But then, conversely, I want to give him credit as, overall the big picture of the team. Because look at tonight. They were down 6 runs. They came all the way back, and they forced extra innings. And so this team doesn't pack it in. They don't quit. They, generally speaking, play hard or play till the end of games. And so I do think that that's a good reflection on the manager. So they're only a couple games over 500. They were projected to be about a 78, 77 win team by Vegas. So by that standard, they've overachieved a little bit. I think he's done an okay job. I'm not calling for his head, but I'm also not saying, Bob, that Donnie Kelly deserves to be in the manager of the year.
Oh, no. I wouldn't say that either, but I also think
I'd probably say he's a B.
He's also had to deal with Ozuna, which was signing by the general manager again, and it hasn't worked out. I understand why they did it. They made some nice moves in this offseason, but also Ozuna has completely derailed the DH situation there. Jonathan in Youngstown, Ohio. Go ahead, Jonathan. How are you?
Hey, Bob. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I just want to talk a little bit about the impact I think McCarthy's already making at camp. I think you can already see his attention to detail and, just everything that he's doing in that regard. But I also think not only for the players, but also for the fans. We've all been talking about Tomlin for a long time, obviously good guy and all, but, not only was his time, I personally thought it should have been done a long time ago, but I think we're really going to see the difference between the two of them as far as, like I said, the attention to detail, as well as the coaching staff. Not only do we have a deeper coaching staff now, but just I think all the way around, it's just much more buttoned up and organized, and I think we're really going to see a difference as far as the fan base and the players as well. So
I think you're right about the coaching staff, Jonathan. I thought, it was too much of the same with Mike Tomlin, that is. I think this is a whole new coaching staff, and I think McCarthy's done a pretty good job identifying guys who can change things around here. So, yeah, from that point of view, we'll see. He seems to be a guy who likes early workouts. He's going to get them in. He's been smart about, I think, how he's used guys in this off season. But you got to get out there and win games, and it still comes down to what they do with quarterback, offensive line protecting quarterback, Andrew. But you can't really assess anything until we see it in regular season.
Yeah, exactly. I do hear the players talk about how the attention to detail is so much finer and better on offense. DK Metcalf was saying today that they'd have routes in games, him and Aaron Rodgers, that they didn't even really like, and that in game they'd have to like scrap things or figure things out, that they would be walking on eggshells. And to me, that was from a guy like that, that to me was a pretty inflammatory comment to make about how things were still last year, even with veteran players and a veteran head coach, were really kind of chaotic and not smooth. And that, you don't want to go into a game. It's one thing to have to adjust to what the NFL defenses give you, but at the same time, if you have to spend time thinking about your own problems, that's a big deal. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're going to see with the changes that are coming up. We're just looking at some of the standings here. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to take a break here, but the Pirates do lose tonight 8-7 after coming back from a 6-0 deficit. How does that affect the wild card situation as it changes? It's daily. It's unbelievable how it is. So many teams packed together. We'll talk about it next right here on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. All right, welcome back. How about this crazy wild card? Tonight we see San Diego trails the Rockies. We see the Nationals won again. We also see the Phillies lost to the Marlins. The Phillies are going backwards, and the Arizona Diamondbacks are just one game behind them, and the Pirates are one behind them. It's going to go right down to the final game, Andrew.
Yeah, it probably will. Some of these teams will fall off. We'll see who sticks around. We'll see who obviously makes a big surge. But tomorrow's critical. If you want the tiebreaker on Arizona, you got to win that game. And they're going to throw Eduardo Rodriguez, who's been one of the best lefties in baseball this year. He beat the Pirates back in May. And you win this, you get that tiebreaker, Bob. You get back the wild card spot, and you make sure you don't have a losing homestand. So just a huge game tomorrow afternoon at PNC Park.
And the Pirates have struggled against all lefties, and this guy's a good one, and we'll see. This is where you need an Ozuna David to do something. Valdez is back. That was a great story today that I thought he's going to miss some time. He didn't. He was back in there. Pony, thanks as always. Appreciate it. We'll see you again later this week. That's going to do it for us tonight. Pirates lose in 12, 8-7 after a miraculous comeback down 6-zip. They tied it, forced extra innings, but lose. More on that, KDKA News at 11. We'll see you then. Good night.